time to start working on this rear end here. So we got the Meitler Brothers alignment bar, and we also have their alignment pucks for the 8.8. Okay, so I don't know if I remember, I'm not sure if you guys remember or not, but I don't know, maybe 7-8 months ago, maybe not that long, but I had told you guys that I had an alignment problem with the car where this wheel here, it was kicked out a little bit. So when I was trying to align the front end, it just wasn't aligning, and that's what I ended up finding out, that this was towed out a little bit in the rear. So I know that I knew this rear end was bent, okay? And when we put the bar in here, you can obviously see that it's bent quite a bit. You can see that the axle tubes are bent backwards, okay? And it's on both sides. This side's not as bad, which I thought it would be this side, because it was that side that I was getting the really bad toe. But it could have been the way I was compensating for it with like the adjustable lowers and uppers. I may have adjusted it to where it looked right, but it wasn't. And it was giving me, it was just way off. So you can see if I slide this one this way, see, this one's the same way. You can see it's closer here, which is towards the front of the car, than here. So both these tubes are bent back. That's pretty common on Fox bodies, actually, because that's, you know, the housing itself, whenever you launch, it's trying to go through the front of the car, okay? So everything's trying to go that way. And then the top is obviously trying to come back, and the bottom is going forward, okay? That's the way they work. They twist like that and go forward. But anyway, so what I'm gonna try to do is, oh, we also picked up a Wild Rides brace, I guess you'd call it. This was really affordable. I'm really bad at this, but I'll try to put the link in the description. But just go to Wild Rides website, and they have this kit that you can get that helps brace your 8.8. So it comes with these 3 bars here. These 2 here, obviously they go in the front. So we're gonna weld some tabs, and that's gonna go there to triangulate it there. So it comes with 2 of those. I think this kit was like $175, or I don't remember. Man, I'm really bad at this. When I see things that I need, I just order it, and I don't really pay attention. My wife would probably kill me if she found that out. But anyway, then this, it's already mitered and everything, and this is gonna go here and here, okay? And then weld to there. So I'm sure you guys have seen these bars on Mustangs. This is nothing new. And then the only other thing I may do is I may come off of this bar here and maybe triangulate it over to the control arm mount. I'm not 100% sure of that, and I haven't even really decided if I'm gonna keep these adjustable mounts that I made. I don't know if maybe that was 7-8 months ago. I made a video on making these lowers, these lower adjustable brackets. They're not great. You know, I did it when it was on the car, and now that I've got the rear end out of the car, I'm not super happy with them. Just the way, you know, I had to do it. But I mean, they do work. But I'm thinking of possibly getting some TRZ lower mounting brackets, and then possibly going with some coilovers. I don't know. That's a possibility. I'm really thinking about it. I've never ran coilovers before. I've always used 100% stock suspension, okay? So this is the first time I'm really dealing with moving bars around and stuff like that. So, but anyway, that really, we can make that decision later. You know, that doesn't have to be made right now. First things first is I need to get the axle tubes straight, or somewhat straight. They don't have to be perfect, okay? So when you weld your 9-inch ends on, if the housing is not perfect, you can see there's like a flat spot here. There's a flat spot on the top of this where it'll, you know, you can register it in a little different spot. So you basically just get your tube as close as you can. Okay. Now, obviously you would do this different if you already had the 9-inch ends on there. Okay. And I've seen other people do it differently. So if you already have the 9-inch ends on and your axle or your housing, your axle tubes bend, then you're gonna have to like heat them up and try to get them to pull in whatever direction you need them to pull. Okay, and then that way you'll straighten it out and then you can weld it or whatever you gotta do. Typically though, you know, if you have 9-inch ends, you're already gonna have it, the axle tubes welded. You're gonna have some bracing, so usually you're where I'm at, not the other way. So anyway, that was a tangent. But so what I'm going to try to do is, as I'm welding the axle tubes to the housing, I'm going to try to purposely weld it on one side, okay? And I'm going to weld it on the side that I want it to move to, okay? So basically, wherever you weld, it's going to pull, okay? So if I was to weld here, this end's going to pull this way, if that makes sense, because the metal, the way I understand it is it expands and then contracts and pulls. It shrinks basically shorter than it was. So if we know that, then if I basically weld on this side first, so spin this. If I weld over here first and I get this pretty hot, in theory, this should pull that way, okay? And like I said, I'm just trying to get it close because it doesn't have to be perfect. You can go ahead and weld your 9-inch ends on the tube, and it doesn't have to be exact, okay? Because like I said, there's a register here with a flat spot that you can pretty much, you know, move around. So the shop that I had do my other rear end, that's what they did, okay? And they pretty much, they didn't even try to straighten my rear end, which I wasn't that happy about that. So what happened is when they put the housing end on, they basically just offset it on the tube and they just left the tube bent, okay? They left it bent and then braced it where it was. So as far as the, you know, as far as the spool and all that new, the 9-inch end was in the right spot. Like, it doesn't care what the axle tube is doing. It really doesn't matter. Okay, so like I said, we're just going to try to get this close, and then we'll finish it off when we do the 9-inch ends welded on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to, I'll put you guys on over there by my welder, and we'll start welding on one side, and let's see how much we can get it to move. I'm going to start on this side first. This side's the worst, as you can see. So I'll basically I'll mark the tube here over there, and that's where I'm going to start. And I'll work my way this way and then back the other way. And we'll stay on one side and then let it cool, and let's see if it moves this way. Okay? We're just, like I said, trying to get it close. So... All right, so we have our bead right there, right on top, okay? And it definitely moved, okay? I don't know if you guys can tell. I'll try to put a picture of before and after. It definitely moved. Not all the way, okay? So we still have more to go. And I think what I might do, because I made about, I don't know, 4 or 5 passes with the TIG, back and forth to get that thing like cherry red. And yeah, and it's still cooling now, so it's actually still coming back. I've been measuring it with a set of calipers, and basically I measure between the smallest spot and the biggest spot, and every few minutes I get a different reading. It keeps moving. So it's not totally moved all the way yet, but it definitely is better. This was way worse. I've got it to move quite a bit. I know it's not easy to see, but it has moved quite a bit, but it's gotten to a point where it's kind of stopped. So what I'm gonna try to do is I'm gonna go ahead and see if I can get some leverage using this brace. So I'll have to drill that hole out there because this hole is a little small for the bolt. We'll drill that hole out, mount these tabs, and then I can kind of use this to pull on it a little bit. I don't know if it will or not. I don't know if it's designed for that, but it can't hurt, right? You know, just to give it a little bit of a pull as it's cooling off. So let me go ahead and get this cleaned up. I'm gonna get these installed, and yeah, we'll keep going, try and get this thing as straight as possible. I wanna give a shout out to Wild Rides. This brace here, I haven't even touched it whatsoever as far as like trying to get it to fit. And look at the fitment already on the tubes on both sides. I mean, just a tiny gap there. I mean, look at that. And it's like offset and everything, so it fits really well. Really surprised at that. You can see. Still have a little more grinding to do here, but yeah, so far so good. Okay, so I got the holes drilled out here for these braces, and yeah, we got to start working on that. So it's going to triangulate that way, and yeah, and then with the bottom brace, this thing's going to be really strong. But like I said, I want to get these on there so that I can try to use them to pull on the tubes a little bit. See if we can get a little straighter. All right, we should be ready to weld these. Make sure you always use acetone. Acetone is like one of the secrets to having good looking welds. I've learned that you can't be clean enough on your surfaces. Alrighty, so we got those welded on. Came out really good. So welding it on this side is actually going to help our cause with the way the tubes are bent. So like I mentioned before, these tubes are bent this way, okay? So welding it on this side is going to expand this metal, which is going to move it a little bit more, but then when it cools, it's going to contract and pull it back. So it should end up further this way, in theory. So, but I'm gonna heat it up some more with the propane torch, and just keep moving it and see how close we can get it. Okay, so it's looking really good. We are very close to being centered. Like I said, it's not gonna be perfect, but once we weld the ends on, wherever they end up is where they end up. So even if this isn't perfect, it doesn't matter, but look how close we are. I'll see if I can throw a picture in of what it was before and then what it is now. So doing all my welding on this side actually helped, and also I tightened this up too. My only complaint, and it's not really even a complaint with this with these Wild Ride braces, is there was no flat spot. Okay, so where I could put, I could put a wrench on it. So I went ahead and machined a little flat spot here and a flat spot here, so that I could get a wrench on it and I could actually tighten it up a little bit. Now, I'm sure that they probably did that for a reason, because you're probably not supposed to use these to actually pull the rear end. I don't think these are designed to do pulling like that. And I didn't really tighten it that much, just a little bit. And it kind of got it right in line. So like I said, I don't know if that's what they're intended for. That's what I did. and it seems to be fine. So, and it only has one locking nut, which is fine because that's all you really need. You lock it down here and nothing can move, so you don't need a lock nut here. So I'm basically going to repeat what I did here on this side. And this side is not anywhere near as bad as this side was. This side was off a lot, okay? So if we move this bar in, let's see if we can kind of show. Okay, so here we are with this one. As you can see, this one's nowhere near as bad as the other one was. It's still, like, you can see that there's, like, my finger doesn't fit in here, but my finger fits right in here. Okay, so you can definitely see that it's off a little bit. Okay, so I'm not gonna make this video much longer. That's pretty much gonna do it. What we'll do in the next video is I'm gonna show you actually cutting off the ends and welding on the 9-inch ends. Okay, so with that, we're gonna do a little bit more measuring and calculating. So I don't think I showed, I got the axles in. These are Strange 35 spline. It's basically their axle and spool package. We got the lightweight spool here. Okay, so I measured out my rear end and I had them cut these about a 1/2 inch shorter. Okay, so we're gonna be narrowing it about a 1/2 inch. But what I wanna do is, I got measurements of the original rear end, and it took a lot of measurements. I recommend doing this. Get your what it is from the end of your axle flange to a flat spot. Doesn't matter where. I use this this little flange here. Get your measurements, your overall length, and all that. Write it down, because like I said, I only want to shorten 1/2 inch. So what my plan is I'm going to get the wheels and all that, and I'm going to put it up under the car where I want the wheels to sit. Okay, and then I'm going to measure in between, and we're going to try and get this as precise as possible. So I do recommend that, I've done it before where I shortened my rear end and then I bought wheels. I definitely recommend buying wheels first and then shortening your rear end. That way you can put the wheels where you want it, measure in between, and then you know what you need to end up with. Okay, so like I said, this video is getting long. I don't want to go any further. It does work. Okay, heat it up on the side that it needs to move to. Okay, so if you need to move it this way, heat it up on this side, and it definitely works. 100%. I mean, you can see it. It definitely works. So, all right, that's gonna do it for this video. Stay tuned for the next one. We'll cut the ends off, shorten the rear end, and that's pretty much gonna do it. I'll clean it up and paint it, and yeah, that's gonna do it for that. And I may add another brace. I'm not 100% sure. Once I get the bottom brace in, I may come to something here, maybe put a plate here and then come off of that. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure, but the more bracing, the better. And yeah, once I get these ends cut off, I can clean this up better, and it'll make it look nice and pretty. And yeah, that's gonna do it. All right, guys, that's gonna do it for this video. Check you all next time.